Good morning. It is a grey day here in Switzerland, and I'm driving along, going somewhere for me to study and focus. And I've been thinking about a few people in the past few days who've said to me how the winter is affecting them, how they're feeling down and how they just want to see the sun. And I know that a lot of people are affected by the seasons. And winter is a season that affects a lot of people because here in Europe we definitely don't see the sun as much as other lucky people who live in other places. So this won't affect all of you guys in Australia and New Zealand, for example, at the moment, but and it does affect us there to some degree in the winter, even though I think the hours of sunshine are a bit more than here. But anyway, I was thinking, as I was driving along, I thought I need to stop and do a video because I used to be affected by the seasons. And I used to be pretty down and sad and depressed when it was grey and raining for days after day after day. But I'm not anymore, and I was thinking, what has changed? What can I share with you to help you deal with whatever the weather throws at you? So here are a few thoughts that I've been mulling around as I was driving. The first one is this idea that I have a sun tank inside me. Yeah, I do. I created one. And so every time there's sunshine, even if it's like yesterday afternoon, there was like 2 minutes of sun. I went to my kitchen, I sat exactly where the sun was, and I closed my eyes and I just soaked it in, and I could visualize that sun tank filling up. So whether I have 2 minutes or 2 hours or a whole day of sun, I get in the sun as much as I can, and I can see that level of sunshine going up and up and up until it's full. And however long of sun I have, it's enough to fill up that tank. Okay, so yesterday I had 2 minutes. I refilled my tank. And then that tank is there available for me on these days like today where it's raining and it's grey and it's pretty crappy. I have my sun tank inside of me, and so I can close my eyes and I get in touch with those feelings of feeling warm and warm colours around me. And the wonderful thing about this tank that I created inside of me is that it never runs empty. There is always enough sun inside of me until there is sun again outside. It's pretty amazing. So that's one thing I've done that really helps me when there's a few days in a row of grey and wet. The other thing that I do is when it's grey and wet, I think, well, what do I like about the weather when it's grey and wet? I like the sound of the rain on the windows or on the roof, for example. I like to think of what nature is feeling as it gets all this moisture, and I can see the water going deep inside into the earth and replenishing the earth, and how the earth is just rejoicing at getting all this water. And that really helps me because I'm like, well, okay, I don't really need the rain, but the nature does. And that's cool. That's good. And I like the sound of the rain. It could be anything. I'm sure there's at least one thing that you like about when it's raining or when it's grey. And then one thing we have here in Switzerland a lot is a fog. Okay, and I had lived without fog for 12 years, more or less, while I was in New Zealand. And so it was a bit of a surprise, let's say, this fog. And what I've done to deal with the fog is that I've imagined that there's like this beam coming out of me or something like that. And so as I'm walking and I can't see maybe 10 meters from where I am, that beam around me, I imagine it's like just pushing the fog away. It's actually just the more, as you move the fog, well, in the fog you can always see a bit further. But anyway, in my mind, I imagine it's like a beam pushing away the fog. And then I imagine if I'm walking somewhere that I know or driving somewhere I know, I can imagine what I can't see because I know it's there. And so I widen what I can see by using my imagination and putting there whatever I can't see. So that's something you can do as well. The other thing is, if you feel like the weather is, for example, pressing down on you or crushing in on you or whatever, you can change that. You can close your eyes and imagine and see it as it is, as something. You can see the size of it, the color of it, what it's doing, how it's moving, what temperature it is. And then you can change that. You can go, like for me, for example, I usually feel like there's a huge black cloud pressing down on me, okay? That's how I used to feel it. So I can close my eyes and I can see that big black cloud and I can go, ooh, I'd like it to be sparkly pink, and do that. And then, oh, it's pretty big and heavy, let's make it nice and light and fluffy. And you can play around with it, and then you can move it away. You can keep it there, but you can move it away. You can make it disappear. You can send it to the moon or wherever, or so far away that you need to take a telescope to see it. And that really changes how you feel inside. Really affects how the weather affects you, essentially. So that's another trick that you can do. And the final thing I do as well is I add colour in other ways. So today I've put my bright blue shell earrings, and I don't know if you can see, but I've put pink lipstick on, which I don't do very often. But little bits of bursts of colour, or you could get flowers to put in your house, you know, some of nature inside the house with bright colours. So those are my tips for dealing with seasonal change and how the weather might be affecting you in the winter. So if you have any questions at all, please email me or send me a message. And if this has helped you in any way, then I'd love to hear from you, because it's really encouraging to have some feedback when one puts ourselves out there like this. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I wish you a really, really lovely day. Bye.